So let's continue. The latest, of course, coming out of this debacle today, of course, is the announcement of the announcement that the Deputy National Police Commissioner, Shadrack Sibiya, has been placed on special leave. That being the latest development. We continue to get some views and reflections on that. We're joined by crime expert now, Professor Kholofelo Rakubu. Prof, good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us. This announcement, the Deputy National Police Commissioner on special leave, was it something that you would have expected, a step in the right direction?
Good evening, and thank you for having me. We have been anticipating such, although one feels the SAPS took much longer to act because it's been more than 7 days upon the explosive allegations, and with evidence of substantive evidence, and the SAPS took time, but one would maybe assume they were awaiting the presidency's direction, which that also taking longer with such allegations could have detrimental effect to the organization, because what was highlighted is much deeper, particularly when the alleged person is in possession of such a critical evidence, which are the dockets. So now allowing such a person to have access to critical information or to still occupy office, obviously that person will tighten loose end here and there. Evidence might be tampered with. Some victims or witnesses might be silenced. And obviously, this crime displacement has taken place, which can take multiple shapes. It can be tactical, it can be operational, it can be spatial, it can be temporal, looking into all the allegations. SAPS should have, the National Commissioner should have acted swiftly, looking into allegations, particularly the closure of the task team and the political infiltration, and also the existence of syndicates within the SAPS. But we welcome this, although I feel is a slap on the wrist. South Africans now are getting to know these fashionable terms. Officials are put on special leave, are asked to be placed on special leave, which is something that South Africans were not expecting. Evidence is there, though we understand due processes, though we understand there should be investigation, but to be put on special leave with benefits, you are just asked to stay at home while investigation proceeds. But again, we give the Judicial Commission benefit of doubt, although South Africans are not thinking that way. We're hoping that within a period of 3 months, that commission will highlight, unearth, or have reviewed some of the evidence, because we strongly believe that the Commissioner Mkhwanazi has so much evidence that is going to assist the Judicial Commission to take swift action. And 3 months, we understand that hopefully that's when members can be, or alleged perpetrators can be permanently removed from office. But as it stands, I'm worried about the time taken to act, although I understand due processes. But with this substantive evidence on the table, the implication, political infiltration, I think politics played a very huge role. That is why there was a delay, because even with the president's speech, he chose politics or party than the nation. But we're still giving the judicial processes commission benefits of doubt. We will see, because other commissions failed to implement recommendations. Some of the implicated members or the findings have never been implemented, or members have never been, justice was never served, if I were to say so. So you can tap into Zondo Commission, issues are still pending and so forth, and a lot of money was utilized. So with this one, because of its uniqueness, because it's a bit holistic, it looks at multiple criminal justice cluster, or justice cluster to be precise.
Yeah.
We're hoping for different outcome and swift outcome.
You know, there's the question, and if we were to take the assumption that the allegations put on the table by the KZN Police Commissioner are right, right? And obviously we have to use that word because legally nothing yet being proven. But with the assumption that the allegations he's put on the table are right, there's something to be said about the access to information that someone like the Deputy National Police Commissioner may have, the Police Minister, Senzo Mchunu. When you start to also consider the fact that last week Correctional Services running that raid at the Kgosi Mampuru prison and finding Vusmuzi Kat Matlala with a cell phone inside a correctional facility. So the networks that could possibly still be running, and I'm keen to hear your thoughts on that. But let's quickly take some calls. Your reaction, if you will, to the news of the Deputy National Police Commissioner Shadrack Sibiya being placed on special leave. We're hearing that announcement today. Let's take some calls. Eugene is in Roodepoort. Eugene, good evening.
Good evening and good evening to all the viewers.
Yes, thanks for calling, Eugene. Talk to us.
I'm just here about police corruption. We all know it's not something new.
Yeah.
You just see, even if you go around, maybe you report maybe a crime somewhere like a drug trading or something. Afterwards, you will go and see the very same policeman where you explain to him that there's something illegal going on. Standing at that house and pointing to your house, there's a person staying. It's something that I think most of us, we have become so used to corruption. When we see it, we just say, it's one of those things. Because we grew up with it around us. That is my comment.
Yeah, Eugene, and I think that is such an important point that you've raised, and it certainly speaks about how there's that saying that it rots from the head, right? And so you might see that infiltration all the way down to the ground. Pat is in Ekurhuleni. Pat, good evening.
Good evening, Naledi, and good evening to your panelists at the studio.
Thanks for calling, Pat. Talk to us.
Hey, Naledi, it's a very devastating issue for us as South Africans, especially the vulnerable ones. For me, I look at this and I see it as it's like the delaying tactics from our government. Why am I saying that? The president came back, took longer to respond, and addressed us within 10 minutes when the press was over, or whatever, the briefing was over. Now, days afterwards, the president again, the deputy commissioner, Shadrack Sibiya, is placed on leave. You know, what battles me about the whole thing is that, number one, we have somebody who's working somewhere who's going to be a pensioner by month end. How many South Africans who are not working, who are over 35, 45 to 50, who are not working, now we are taking another pensioner to come and work? General Sibiya, Deputy Commissioner Sibiya, now is suspended today. Who is going to be there? Again, we are going to take another pensioner to be there. Otherwise, it seems as if we do not have a president in this country, and the president is undermining the people of this country. That is my take.
Okay, I wonder if age, is that important, but of course that is your view and we certainly respect it. Pat, thank you so much for calling in. Pat in Ekurhuleni. We'll take more calls, 010-594-6010. Your response to the news today on the back of those allegations last Sunday by the KZN Police Commissioner. The news today that the Deputy National Police Commissioner Shadrack Sibiya has been placed on special leave. Is this a step closer to justice and certainly being able to clean out the rot that the KZN Commissioner has spoken about? But let's talk about the networks that still might very well exist. And I know you touched on it a little bit earlier, Prof, but I mean, it certainly speaks to just how deep they may run. You've got Eugene talking about how in our communities, many feeling that they're so used to seeing police on the wrong side of the law.
We have normalized existence of syndicates within state-owned entities, and SAPS being one. Like I said, the lack of agency in the response from all parties did not consider the magnitude of these syndicates, lacked an understanding that the syndicate is deeper and well connected, right? That is why I mentioned issues of displacement. The minute the focus shifted to the minister and Sibiya, obviously syndicates are very smart and well connected. They shifted. That's why I talked of the spatial displacement, the tactical one and the temporal one. So they have already identified someone within the system to take over. Right? Because once Sibiya was given days to still be in office, if indeed he has done what he's alleged to have done, obviously, when still in office, so much damage has been done, so much has been shifted, so much has been hidden, and the network decided to reshape, to evolve, because syndicates, once identified, it evolves. And it evolves smartly so because they are highly rational and well connected. That is why we were not even shocked when they found a cell phone, because that is what most inmates, they do have access to cell phones. So it wasn't something new that he has a cell phone. But looking into the nature of the crime or syndicate that is involved in, obviously a cell phone was required, because during Mkhwanazi's explosive allegation, issues of cell phones to lure members to try get favors, to give instruction. Cell phones were at the center, at the core of this. But again, leaving someone into power for a particular time with such explosive allegations, that undermined or ensured lack of understanding of the magnitude of syndicates or political infiltration. But we understand that the politics of law enforcement in South Africa suggested lack of agency, suggested multiple consultation within unmentioned groups to check. It's a game of chess. How do we act? When do we act? Who do we push? Where do we touch? Where not to touch? Because we were undermined. With South Africa's outcry, 24 hours was a lot to say, now to realize that my country does not have a minister. This I must act swiftly. And we understand that we had deputy ministers at the time. When you were taking action, remove. And a deputy minister can step in, and you can come in and play your other politics to shift deputy ministers, because with what transpired, it looks like, okay, deputy ministers are there for the purpose of being there, political favors and so on. They should have been utilized effectively to say this, unless you also suspect that they might be involved, unless you lack trust in them so that you overlooked them to go and find somebody somewhere to come and add on an expenses, because whoever is coming in comes at a particular price. South Africa's will have to pay whoever comes in the midst of two ministers. What is their purpose? Because we believe some have been in that position for quite some time. They are well experienced, but now you come in to bring someone in. We do not have a problem with the professor. As a professor myself, I'm very happy. There's an experience, there's theory, and there's practice, because he has been in the system before. He worked in Gauteng, he's well exposed. But we also have to question. Now 4 people are going to be paid. Kunu will be getting paid, the 2 deputy minister, and now the acting minister will have to come in and get paid, right? So you'll have to look at those and wonder, what is this game now? Because next thing you'll be telling us, South Africa doesn't have money. But when you have to take decisions, politics comes to fore, and forget all those expenses. But still, I say, Commission, South Africa deserves to understand the nitty-gritty of this syndicate, who is implicated, to what extent, who was instructed to close task team, where is information leaking and so forth, because I'm sure there are other implicated officers that are not mentioned here. So we deserve a commission of inquiry.
It's not lost on me that next month, of course, we're starting with the steps towards getting into the national dialogue, and at the same time we'll be waiting to see what comes out of this judicial commission of inquiry, and both of those discussions so critically important for stability and how South Africans see their own country. Let's hear from Yanga in Lusikisiki. Yanga, good evening. Thanks for calling.
Good evening. I hope everyone is well.
We are well, sir. Thank you for calling. Talk to us.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to say that it's kind of disappointing that the president took so long while he was in the country to address this. It's such a serious allegation, because The police themselves are supposed to be fighting corruption forefront, in front, yet they've been paralyzed by corruption and a syndicate like this. And then the president takes forever to address this thing. And then it's given a 3-month update, and then it has to take 6 months. I mean, the whole country is bleeding out of corruption, it's like we are leaderless if the president is not that decisive, because we have a minister of police who has been under the wing of syndicates. It's so serious, and he has been fighting these drugs, but yet he knows that there are people that are controlling him behind. I mean, it doesn't look good at all. And I think there's more to this than what we are seeing right now. There's so much that still has to come out.
And that so much we will hear in the commission. Yanga, thank you so much for calling. Let's take a look at a few WhatsApps that have come in from more of our viewers. Gabrielle says, President Cyril Ramaphosa did a good job to place Shadrack Sibiya on leave. Okay, people happy with that move there. Vusim Siza says, hi Naledi, I think SAPS took too long to suspend the DNC. I think Sibiya has already tempered with political killings dockets, which he took to his office. Okay, Vusi, thank you for that. Magwana says, good evening. Police Commissioner was supposed to be suspended, not on leave. And Professor Rakubu making that point earlier around suspension versus leave. I do want to leave with this final thought, though, Prof, just as we close off. We saw the marches taking place in KwaZulu-Natal today, quite controlled to a great extent. But what it does do is it shows us just how visible this issue is. And you've talked about criminal networks that are continuing to work, in the shadows. But there is a feeling that the curtain has been pulled back and South Africans are watching very closely. And I wonder if that gives you a sense of optimism about just how outspoken South Africans can be on a matter as important as this.
South Africans have been outspoken on other matters before, and there were no actions. So we're just hoping for a paradigm shift this time, because I see other political parties are seeing this as a chess game as well. So they are playing their game around the whole thing. But we understand the politics of the game itself. What South Africans have been invited here is to now unpack the level of corruption, because remember, for quite some time, we've been wondering, why are we losing the battle against crime? Yet when you release your crime stats tells of a different story, right? The politics as well. So, and then the minister came in, 2 months, 3 months, crime has reduced in South Africa. We questioned that in the absence of crime stats. Then few months, there was a crime summit. Next thing, while we were still reeling from the crime summit, policing summit, then the closure of the task team. Then South Africa was a bit fooled around the closure because, okay, crime has reduced and there seems to be activities in policing. Then let's give this man benefit of doubt.
Okay, and let me just jump in there. Let me just jump in there. I'm going to let you have your final thoughts, but I just perhaps to respond to this, because we've got breaking news at this hour coming in. A statement coming in from the presidency, and it reads, President Cyril Ramaphosa has appointed the Minister of Mineral and Petroleum Resources, Gwede Mantashe, as the acting Minister of Police. That's with immediate effect. There you have it. Minister Mantashe will serve in this capacity until Professor Feroz Kachalia, who will retire from his position at the University of Witwatersrand at the end of the month, assumes his position at the start of August. Minister Mantashe will retain his responsibilities as Minister of Mineral and Petroleum Resources. That statement coming in just moments ago. Your thoughts on that? We've got an acting minister waiting for an acting minister. So now we have acting Police Minister Gwede Mantashe until the end of this month. Prof?
I'm not too pleased. Another political infiltration, another game, but let's see what Babu what they can do. I don't think there will be too much activities, 3 months or acting positions. You lack discretionary power because at some point you'll have to also save your position as a minister. We have deputy minister, the 2 deputy ministers, and one has been there in the police for quite some time. Why not utilize them? Because they've been part of the decision making, unless you also suspect that they've been involved somewhere here and there. I'm not too pleased with the acting position. They don't do much in the game. They change, they infiltrate, and then once Kachalia comes in few days to come, I'm sure there will be few decisions taken. But let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. But all this impact on the level of criminality. Criminal syndicates are having a field day because of this instability. Once we settle, there will be so much to catch up on. Syndicates are busy working at the moment while we are not even sure who's the minister. Come 1st of August, there will be another one. There will be a new sheriff in town with new terminology and so forth. But again, with acting hanging on his head, he might not do much. But let's wait and see.
Yeah, we wait and see. Prof. Kholofelo Rakubu, an absolute pleasure having you on the show. Thank you so much for your time. Prof, the crime expert, is speaking to us as we look at developments coming out of this, the state of the SAPS saga. The latest from today being the suspension of the Deputy National Police Commissioner, and this breaking just moments ago. President Cyril Ramaphosa appoints the acting Minister of Police. He's appointed the Minister of Mineral and Petroleum Resources, Gwede Mantashe, as acting Minister of Police with immediate effect. He will serve in his capacity, that is until Prof. Feroz Kachalia, who will retire from his position at Wits University at the end of this month, assumes that position at the start of August. But you, of course, think about just how pivotal of a figure politically Gwede Mantashe certainly is, not just in cabinet, but just within the political sphere as chairperson of the African National Congress. Will he be able to keep things stable? And what influence could he have towards the end of July as we await the entry of Professor Feroz Kachalia?